Chirohustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and Spotify to continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, Mango Voice, Community Healthcare Resources, and Invisired. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 376 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Phil Harrington. And if you want to hear how we can let there be light, stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. We are at 376. And today I have Dr. Phil Harrington coming in from beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. And I, your host, Jim Chester, I am coming in from Grand Junction, Colorado. And before we get rolling into this one, I just let people know the big why. Why do we do what we do? Well, we protect free speech in chiropractic. We protect the sacred trust. We support subluxation-based chiropractors. We do this show to support people in their biggest mission to understand what chiropractic is. And we do support subluxation-based chiropractic with innate intelligence and the universal intelligence that when somebody gets adjusted, it connects man the physical to man the spiritual, which I think is super important for people to understand that chiropractic isn't just about the pain game. It's about changing people's lives. And this episode, if you check the ticker on the bottom of the screen there, it says Dr. Phil Harrington, who he is. But if you want to learn how to create your own podcast, we have a training course that you'll see that coming up right now. It's called Chiro Hustle Master Class. And if you guys want to learn how to create your own podcast, go to that website and check it out. But Dr. Phil Harrington, 376, your story. You grew up in Iowa like me. So that's pretty cool. And you practiced there for some time. So let's just tell your chiropractic story and how you got into the profession. And then we'll talk all things laser.
Okay. All right. Well, Jim, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to visit with you and visit with your podcast viewers. It's a tremendous opportunity, and I sincerely appreciate it. I really enjoy being here. My chiropractic story is that I come from a large family. I'm the youngest of 8 children. We had 7 boys and 1 girl, and in our family, we are a close-knit family, and there are many things that we would do together, playing music, playing games, etc. But I had an older brother, Bill, who actually turns out he had a similar career path to what I ended up with. Bill graduated college, was a high school math teacher for a few years. He met a chiropractor who talked to him about practicing chiropractic. And so Bill went to Palmer College in Davenport and graduated in 1982. I graduated high school in 1982, and I got to see the things that Bill and his wife Gloria could do in their practice. They were in a small town in Iowa. And, I saw the energy in their office, the way that they were able to help people. I was able to see patients come in their office excited and happy to be there. I was able to hear stories of how they were able to help patients who were medical failures that had been in chronic pain, going on down the laundry list. So my career path is that I graduated from Iowa State University with a degree in physics, and then taught high school math and physics for 3 years. And then after thinking about it and seeing the exciting things that Bill could do in his practice, I decided to go to Palmer College. So I graduated in 1996 and then was in practice in a small town in Iowa for 10 years.
Yeah, cool story. Yeah. And I think it's inspiring because so many times people come into the chiropractic world and they see what's possible. Mm-hmm. And I think it's empowering to see how their lives just turn around with taking care of their spine and taking care of their health. A lot of people just don't know that it's something that people can do to stay healthy, and you don't have to have pain to get into the chiropractic space. It's a healing art.
Right. Yes, exactly.
And you coming from being a high school physics teacher, um, how did that correlate with you becoming a chiropractor?
Well, to some extent, it didn't at all. But then also, it did because as a teacher, I am talking to people and trying to educate them about the laws of physics and things like that. And then as a chiropractor, one thing that I've always firmly believed in is patient education. For a while, when I was at Palmer, I tried to start a patient education club, patient education group. Where we would just get together at the end of the day and just practice standing up in front of people. How many of us have that fear of simply standing up in front of a crowd of people and telling your story or telling what it is that you do or how you can help them. So that correlation of being a teacher. And I think that I think any good chiropractor, to some extent, they're going to have that element of being an educator, a teacher, a promoter, and being comfortable standing up in front of a group of people, whether it's 3 people or 300 people, standing and sharing their story.
Well, the definition of doctor is teacher, and I think that
Correct.
they do
Yeah.
correlate quite well together.
Yeah.
And you're right. People that are in the healing art space of chiropractic, they have to obviously um, educate people on what it's all about. And that's what I love about the show that we do is there's a lot of people that will listen to this. Your friends and family, present, past practice members, people that you do business with. People are going to listen to this and they're going to learn more about chiropractic through this show than ever before, because people can listen to this passively, they can watch it on video, they can listen to
Mhm.
it on audio. So I do like what you're doing back and your student times is there is a very big gap out there that we need to fill with chiropractic information for people, and now we have to give it to them how they use it.
Right, right. Yeah. So one recommendation I always give is, if you're not able to, if you're a student and you're not able to get into a patient education club or anything like that, join Toastmasters. Toastmasters, I did only spend 1 year in Toastmasters, but that year in Toastmasters was very educational and influential for me. And so I would encourage anyone, as part of your professional list of things to do, join Toastmasters.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was in the Chamber of Commerce, and I sat in a BNI group and Young Professionals Networking group, and it was amazing how it helped polish my skills of being a communicator and taking one small thing and explaining it to a group of people. And when I would go to those groups, I would show them what it looked like to have. It's kind of gross, but I'd show them what it looked like to have like an abscessed tooth.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is what it looks like inside your spine. The tissue's just as inflamed as this, and it's just as achy as that looks, but it's controlling the nervous system, which controls your organ system. So people definitely wanted to get their spines checked
Right.
because I told them that the inflammation inside that causes the pain is the same type of inflammation that makes the gums look red and icky. And I was
Hmm.
like, that's how your spine looks. So you don't want it to look like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another recommendation that I make is get involved in BNI, Business Network International. When I looked into it, it is a commitment. It's a weekly meeting and you're expected to be there every week. But then also, it is a tremendous way to interact with other professionals and to grow your practice.
Well, the reward is accountability. You learn how to show
Yes.
up for other people,
Yeah.
including yourself, and I
Yeah.
think that that's something that we're sorely missing right now, and
Hmm.
what we do today is accountability is huge. So,
Hmm.
I didn't like it either. I woke up on Wednesday morning and got to a meeting at 7:30 in the morning. No,
Right.
it wasn't ideal. It didn't just like slot right into my time.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. But the rewards are great.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I still have those connections in my life today. So I think that when people think about starting a practice and getting out there to their communities and building relationships, you have to sometimes do things that definitely aren't in your wheelhouse.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yes.
So we just gone through a tumultuous couple years. Um, I know that most people have some of them have not taken care of themselves the greatest, and some people did take care of themselves great. Like
Hmm.
I did 75 hard twice in the past year and a half,
Hmm.
and that's a huge commitment to staying healthy. But what are you doing for yourself? How are you staying fit and healthy while you do what you do?
Well, I do have those pictures from the early days of the lockdowns where I did let my beard grow out and I let my hair grow out, and so I have got those pictures. But I'm lucky and blessed in living in Scottsdale, Arizona, where our weather is typically conducive to getting out and getting some sunshine, and making sure that that my exposure to the sun is, in the times when the sun is right above us, where we are getting the most exposure to UV light. I limit those hours of exposure. So my exposure to the sun is in the morning and at night. Uh, we have a we have a Boston Terrier that is sleeping right here beside me. My household chore is to take Harley Sue out for a walk in the morning and at night. So that's part of my exposure. And then also another way that has really impacted actually helped my mental health tremendously in the last year is that a year ago in March, my wife and I rescued two horses from off of um, the lands, the reservation, or whatever here in Arizona, and literally every day I have been working with that horse. And March 25th last year, I could not touch her. I couldn't do anything, or she would go crazy. And now, when I walk out to the arena, she comes running up to me, and we're best friends, and she's my buddy. So I like to take her out for long walks also. So proper exposure to the sun and walking for a lot of my exercise. But then I also use my laser. And one interesting thing, um, I was just at a meeting last weekend in San Diego. It's called the American Society for Lasers, Medicine, and Surgery, and I was able to spend a lot of time with. Her name is Dr. Diane Meneguzzo. She is a dentist from Brazil, and it's always interesting to visit with people in other countries and see how they're using the laser. Dr. Diane is a large proponent of using laser to irradiate the bloodstream, and the way that we do that is use um, um, lower power, anywhere from 200 milliwatts to 1 watt, and then place it either on the wrist for 30 minutes or else on the carotid artery for 5 to 6 minutes. And that way, by irradiating the blood supply, you're getting that full circulation of the blood going through the body, those body parts in that time. And one of the recent discoveries that she was telling me about is that there are actually free mitochondria in the bloodstream. So, you know, going back to lockdown and COVID days, I did get the nasty virus, and when I had it, I was doing those systemic laser treatments on my wrist to help with my improve my blood. But then I was also doing direct treatments on my lungs, and simply measuring my blood oxygen levels with a pulse oximeter, my blood oxygen levels would go up from things like typically from an 88 up to a 95 or a 96 during the laser treatment. So we're talking about two different types of laser treatment there. The first one on the bloodstream is more of a systemic approach to the bloodstream. On the lungs, we're talking about getting laser light actually into the lung tissue. So when we're wanting to penetrate deeper into the body, getting into the lungs, we're using infrared wavelengths that will penetrate several centimeters into the tissues. And what's very, very interesting, and I call this connecting the dots, one of the known mechanisms for therapeutic laser is that it causes nitric oxide to dissociate from the cytochrome oxidase enzyme in the electron transport chain. And then that allows the cytochrome oxidase enzyme to process oxygen more efficiently. So, any laser lecture, they're going to talk about increase in ATP. But what is interesting is what happens to that nitric oxide after it's been kicked off of the cytochrome oxidase. And in the lungs, one effect that nitric oxide has is it is proven to prevent the replication of the SARS-CoV viruses and the acute respiratory viruses. So it's interesting how we can connect those dots and show that direct treatment on the lungs could actually have an impact on that viral infection in the lungs.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, Mango Voice, Community Healthcare Resources, and Invisired. Let's hustle. You know, this kicks up a lot of dust for me because I was just on an airplane coming home from Puerto Rico, and there's a gal next to me that she's in politics and she does lobbying and stuff. And I was like talking to her, and I told her I run the #1 podcast in the world for chiropractors, and she's like, "Wow, I think it's more important than ever that we get a more holistic approach going into to people's households." And I was like, "You're the first to tell me that." I was like, they haven't promoted any natural health capacity by an iota. This whole like I call it the scamdemic. Some people don't like that. I call it the sniffles. Some people don't like that. I'm a bit of a hardliner when it comes to like accepting something for what people want it to be. It isn't fun. It isn't easy on people, and I agree. But anyways, I was telling her they never once said anything about watching what you're eating, staying hydrated, meditating, getting spirituality into your life, going to church. They never said to go out and exercise. They never said to eat organic food. They never said to congregate with people and be around people. They
Exposure
said the exact,
to sunlight.
They didn't say any of that stuff. And that's where I come into play with what you're saying is there are alternative like solutions for people to have better quality of health, but they didn't talk about any of that. They didn't say go take a buddy to the gym. They didn't say any of that. And this lady's sitting here on the airplane talking to me, telling me that we need more of that type of inclusion. And I'm like, yeah, I think so. I think so, because what you're telling me is that laser can help speed up healing. And what I told her is that the chiropractic lifestyle can be a solution for people to stay healthy long term. And she's like, no one's ever explained it to me the way you just did. So no one's ever told me what you just told me when it comes to like laser actually being able to heal people faster when it comes to some type of not even a pain, but some type of a virus in us.
Right. And that's that. And I guess I'd like to kind of introduce another topic here is that, well, let me just, I want to say a couple of things here, Jim, if I could,
Please.
I think that I am sound in my chiropractic philosophy. My philosophy instructor at Palmer College was Virgil Strang. And, we had I was in class 961, at Palmer College, and we had many in that group that were very strong in chiropractic philosophy. And, I understand, and I get it, and it doesn't offend me that someone who is a subluxation-based chiropractor may push back on the use of therapeutic laser in their practice, and that's okay, that's fine. I've come across plenty of people like that. But if you want to embrace laser in your practice, one thing that I mentioned is, light it's non-invasive. We're using non-invasive red and infrared laser light that is non-ionizing. It's by definition very safe. It's actually safer than walking outside in UV sunlight. And then, regardless of anyone's religious persuasion or religion you practice, I don't intend the discussion to go too far down that road. But what I will point out is that in the Old Testament, in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 3, God said, "Let there be light." And so I look to that creation of light in the universe as a universal healing ability. And so, when we are using light to have an influence on the body, yes, there are many ways that we can talk about the use of laser for pain, for injuries. That's fine. We can have that discussion all day long. And it's very important because, before we had the COVID virus and the pandemic, the big discussion in health before that was the opioid epidemic. And something interesting that happened before President Trump signed the Opioid Crisis Response Act, they actually had meetings on Capitol Hill looking at innovative medical technologies to combat the opioid crisis. And photobiomodulation / laser therapy was the featured technology in those meetings. So, there's more and more attention being paid to laser therapy, photobiomodulation, and we're finding that there are more and more applications for it. Another thing is that in the chiropractic space, we tend to be, as a rule, chiropractors tend to be early adopters of technology. Over the years, I've been medical director for Summus Medical Laser for 15 years. And over those years, I've had many conversations with medical doctors, osteopaths, et cetera, that believe in more of the the pharmaceutical approach to health, or that sort of thing, the Western medicine, drugs and surgery, and they appreciate laser, but they're just not willing to implement it in their practice. Chiropractors are in a unique position in able to uh, implement laser in their practice. And if one solution for this is that someone could have keep your freestanding chiropractic practice the way it is. And then if you have space, or if you have a building next door somewhere close to you where you could offer a laser therapy pain clinic or a laser therapy clinic, that is a solution. And the other condition that I wanted to talk about was neuropathy. Whether it's diabetic peripheral neuropathy, chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy, other forms of peripheral neuropathy. Modern medicine does not have an answer for those conditions. And at the risk of someone sending a nasty message, I would submit that subluxation-based chiropractic. If you have a 300-pound person with diabetes, the long time their blood sugar is out of control, they have a horrible diet, and they can't feel their toes and their feet, and they're starting to get some open wounds on their legs. I love subluxation-based chiropractic, but I'm sorry, subluxation-based chiropractic is not going to save that person's life. What can help them and what is proven to help them, very solid scientific studies show greater than 90% success rate in significant reduction of peripheral neuropathy symptoms with class 4 therapeutic laser treatments. And our results are showing from the doctors that we have trained in using class 4 laser therapy for peripheral neuropathy, greater than 90% success. I could show you cases where we had patients that were scheduled for an amputation. Once a patient is diabetic and once they get a lesion on the bottom of their foot, they face a greater than 50% chance of amputation. The lifetime healthcare costs associated with that amputation are more than $500,000. So what is it? We've had cases, like, as I said, where those patients are scheduled for amputation. We treat them with the laser for 16 or 18 treatments. Their neuropathy symptoms subside significantly, and the wounds on their foot will heal up.
Well, a lot of this stuff hits close to home for some people, I'm sure. I think that it's a huge problem that people are. I interviewed Les Brown, I don't know, a while back, but he's a very, very influential guy in the motivational speech world, and he impressed upon me. He said, people want to cut it out, they want to drug it out, or they want to burn it out. And what I see is maybe we can laser it out.
Right.
Maybe we can not cut it out. Maybe we can not drug it out. Maybe we can not burn it out. Maybe we can heal it with light. And people, I think just in they might not know this, Phil, but we are beings of light. We are light energy. And I think that it makes sense to heal the body with light, like you said. Let there be light. Well, let there be healing too. And I think that I was telling you off camera, like I hang from a bar and just hang for a minute and hold on to this bar. And it sucks. It really does. It's not fun. If anybody wants to do something that sucks every day, go hang on a bar. What was happening though is I was getting these headaches, and I'm a guy that doesn't get headaches. But I was like, man, what is going on? Like towards the end of like the 45th second, I'm just like feeling this huge compression in the back of my neck. So I was doing an event down in Dallas, and I was next to a laser company, and the guy
Mhm.
took the laser, put to my neck for 5 minutes. Then the next day, I was next to him again. I was running a booth, and he puts the laser to my neck. And then I come back on that month. Actually, they had a gym at the hotel I was at, and
Okay.
I actually hung onto the bar the next morning for a minute, and no 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 headache.
Mhm. Right.
So
Yep.
I think, I'm a guy that I go to at 2 o'clock today. I'll go to the chiropractor. I'll
Mhm.
get checked and adjusted as necessary. I do that
Mhm.
once a week, and I live that chiropractic lifestyle. So
Okay.
even me, somebody that's like, hey, I run this podcast that educates people on chiropractic. Um, I'm not foreign to understanding that laser helped me. And I think it's pretty cool that, I mean, I was asking you off camera also, like, what are all these titles after your name? Like, you have DC, you have CMLSO, you have FASMLS. I'm like, these are some things I've never heard about. And you said that they're both laser certifications.
Right. Yeah. So, one thing is commitment to safety, and with any kind of laser device that you have, first off, you have to be committed to safety. And the CMLSO designation, Certified Medical Laser Safety Officer, is typically used by laser people that are in industry or research or in hospital settings, typically working with ablative dermatologic lasers. To the best of my knowledge, I'm still the only CMLSO that it's affiliated with a therapeutic laser company. So, that's our first and foremost commitment with our Summus Medical Laser devices is to safe application of the devices and safe usage.
Mm,
And the second designation, FASLMS, is a fellow of the American Society for Lasers, Medicine, and Surgery. And I guess, part of what that shows is that, I love chiropractic. I love what we do. But hey, guess what? Things happen in this world outside of the chiropractic profession. And we're not going to wall it off and talk just about the use of laser within chiropractic. So we just had that, as I said, that convention last weekend in San Diego, and that meeting gave me a chance to interact with people that are using these dermatological lasers in their practice. The best, my favorite interaction of that weekend was to chat with Dr. Juanita Anders. Dr. Juanita Anders, who is either the top or one of the top researchers in photobiomodulation. And you'll find that she has authored many papers. And really, the heart of the conversation got down to the necessity of class 4 therapeutic laser. So early on in her research career, Dr. Anders did not think that we needed to have a class 4 therapy laser. She just didn't think it was necessary. But now, after conducting laser penetration on research on fresh tissue, where basically you bury a photon sensor in the tissue, you shine a laser at the top to measure how much light is getting down into the body. Dr. Andrews now is a proponent of the class 4 therapy lasers, and she has scientific validation for it. And actually, she is one of 4 authors that wrote an opinion paper that indicated that yes, class 4 therapeutic lasers are required. If your goal, if your target is deep inside of the body, such as lumbar disc, such as diabetic peripheral neuropathy, if your targets are way down deep inside of the body, you have to have a class 4 therapy laser in order to do that. So
mm,
there are things that I have learned in my exposure to laser outside of chiropractic. Then I turn it around and bring back and I implement that. I am a PACE certified CE provider. Any chance that I get, I am speaking on laser, and I appreciate the opportunity here because this gives me a platform to share an opinion that I have here. Laser education in chiropractic is significantly lacking. One of the things that frustrates me to no end is, we always, chiropractic traditionally, historically, has had the quack label hung onto us. And it bothers me a lot when somebody does something that allows someone to hang that quack label on us. And with a fair amount of the laser education that I see in chiropractic, it allows people to hang that quack label on us. I do have online CE courses that I've recorded that are available on various online CE programs. Like I said, I do have various webinars recorded. I'm trying to get my message out the best I can. And if there's anyone listening who is looking for a CE accredited speaker on laser therapy, I would certainly appreciate the opportunity.
Well, that's cool. What website can we send people to?
My private website is just drphilharrington.com. That's where I have my own personal information, and it's just all one word, drphilharrington, drphilharrington.com. And or you can just do an online search for my name, and you'll find I do have various of my own podcasts on SoundCloud. But then also I will mention our company website, which is Summus Medical Laser, and our company website is summuslaser.com, and Summus is SUMMUS, summuslaser.com. And so, going directly to those sites or doing online searches is a way that you could reach us.
Well, I feel like we could have talked for another hour or so.
Right.
I appreciate
Right.
you being on. We are at the edge of our time together today, and I just want to thank you for sharing your passion for chiropractic and your knowledge around laser and laser practice. And I think that there'll be another chance for us to get on another show in the future.
That'd be great.
Dr. Phil, thank you for being my guest today on episode 376. If you guys are looking to start your own podcast, go to chirohustlemasterclass.com. And I'd love to help you guys spread more information on what you're passionate about, because I believe everybody has a voice and everybody has a story. And that's what we do here is we capture stories and create a tapestry of chiropractic messaging for many, many people. And I want to thank everybody for being on with us today. And Dr. Phil, I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Appreciate the opportunity, and I'll answer any questions.
All right. Bye for now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.